Welcome back. In the previous video, we created an anim instance called shooter anim instance. And in this anim instance, we created some variables, namely one for the shooter character, one for the speed, is in air, and is accelerating, which are booleans. And we get those in update animation properties, which is a blueprint callable function that we created. In this video, we're going to create an animation blueprint, and we're going to stick it in the character folder along with our character blueprint. So in the character folder in _game, right-click, go to animation, and click animation blueprint. We're going to base this class on shooter anim instance. That's the C++ class that we created. Now we need to select a skeleton for this animation blueprint. We're going to choose Bellica skeleton because that's the skeleton that came with the Bellica skeletal mesh. Click OK. We're going to name this shooter anim BP. Now that we have shooter anim BP, we can assign this to the mesh in our shooter character blueprint. So open shooter character BP and select the mesh. In the mesh, in the details panel, under animation, we can say for animation mode, use animation blueprint, and for anim class, we're going to select our shooter anim BP. Go ahead and compile and save that and close shooter character BP. Now we're going to open shooter anim BP. Shooter anim BP has an event graph. This is where we can have blueprint logic, and it has an anim graph, and this is where we can have animation logic and state machines. Now I go over the basics of the animation blueprint in my other course, Unreal Engine C++, the Ultimate Developer course. You can learn some basics in that course. In this course, we're going to build on top of that, starting with a basic animation blueprint and gradually adding complexity layer by layer until we have a more complex system. Now recall, we set up the class to have update animation properties be blueprint callable. Here in the event graph in shooter anim BP, we have this blueprint update animation. This is kind of like the tick function. We're going to call our blueprint callable function update animation properties. We'll see it here. And it takes a float called delta time. And we can pass that in because we have this event blueprint update animation. So we'll call this and pass in delta time. Now our C++ function will be called and we'll get our variables updated every frame. So we've now created our animation blueprint. In the next video, we're going to continue by creating some state machines so that we can actually get our character animated in the game. See you in the next video.